Hello, Op here, and what I have for you today is this Medeco key and knob cylinder. This is Medeco Original, sometimes called the Medeco Classic. This is a 5-pin lock. You can see your bitting right there. It does have a sidebar, and you can see the bitting right here for pin rotation. This lock works pretty well. I did have it apart to lubricate it. When I got it, it was very sticky, especially the sidebar. But I'm going to get this picked for you today. So let me get this in a vise, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're all set up in the vise here, and just making sure everything is moving smoothly. I'm just going to rake the lock to make sure I reset the rotation of those pins, or rather randomize it. So a couple of little rakes, and going to use top of the keyway tension here, just with like a wiper insert and a standard hook. So first I'm going to pick to the pins to shear line, then we'll deal with the rotation. Pin 5 feels like it's binding, little click. 4 feels loose. 3, little click. Pin 2, binding. Click there. Pin 1 binding. Excuse me. And you can see we've got rotation of the core. We're probably sitting on that sidebar now. So now I'm going to focus on the pin rotation itself. So what I'm doing is basically scrubbing the pick over the tip of the pin to see if it feels loose, like it's in the gate. So pin 1 feels good there. Coming in to feel pin 2, that feels pretty loose. 3, trying to feel if 3 feels loose, and it feels like 3 could use some attention there. Just going to let up on my tension a little bit, trying not to let up so much that I actually reset some of the pins. Coming all the way to the back of the lock to pin 5 to feel if he's loose. He's going to need a little bit of attention to get him rotated. Feels like I got him rotated. Coming over to 4. And 4 feels like he needs some attention. Gonna let off a little tension like I said before and sort of move him until I feel like he's in the right spot. He feels like he's loose. He might be in the right spot there. Coming to 3. Really applying some pretty stout tension on this so that I can really feel if one of these is binding. So we got 1 is good. Feeling 2. I think 2 might need a little bit of attention here. 2 is a really high cut pin. Let me see here. Trying to just rotate it a little bit. So I'm using the tip of my pick to rotate that pin on its axis to try to get into the gate. And you can hear sort of this loose sound, and I can feel it. So it feels like he's loose. Now I'm on what feels like pin 4. I think pin 4 has a false gate, if I remember correctly. Have had this lock apart before, and there we go. Okay, so that was pin 4, and we're open. I was saying I had this apart before, and I think it's pin 4 has a false gate in him. Let me get set up here for gutting. Move this over for a minute. So not too bad of a pick. Just sort of have to get the feel and technique down for this lock. Okay, and let's see if we can get a good angle for you. Get all that stuff out of the way, and fix that focus for you. So there's just a couple of screws on the back here, and we need to take off and get those down. Get that out of the way also. So not too bad of a pick once you get the feeling for it. I'm just going to relock this because I do have the key. It'll be easier to gut that way. And we'll turn that. So like I said, not too bad of a pick. You know, you just sort of have to get the feel for what's going on inside the lock. So I'm going to take this out, being careful to hold the sidebar in, because the first time I did this I actually did not, and it went flying out, and it was a big search on the floor for it. So got that out, and we'll get the excuse me, we'll get the pins out, and let me zoom in just a little bit for you so you get a little bit of a better view. Okay. So, excuse me, the first thing I'm going to do is drop that sidebar out. If it'll come out of there. There we go. So you got the sidebar with two little springs there. And then we'll do pin 1. Got pin 1 there. Oops, sorry about that. So we got pin 1. Pin 2, pin 3, pin 4. You can see it's different. I'm not sure if that's for sort of an anti-bump measure or what, but he is a little bit different, and he's also got a false gate in him. You can see your core right over here. We'll focus. Nothing really fancy going on in there, and you can see the little slots here where the sidebar actually protrudes. Let's get our drivers out. Arrange these a little bit better. Okay, so we have driver for 1, and all the springs in this are the same, so I'll take those out later. Driver for 2, our driver for 3, driver for 4, and finally our driver for 5. And these are balanced stacks, so you'll see that the heights of the drivers are actually different depending on the height of the key pins. Let me get the springs out for you. Sometimes they're a little sticky. I think we got, we got all of them right there. I'll just show you one of them. See if we can get this arranged for you. These are a little stuck together. And we got all of our springs there. I'm going to get you a close-up of the key with the bitting. And you can see you've got your key with your bitting right there. Sorry, I'm trying a new focus system. Doesn't seem to be cooperating all that well. Interesting thing on this key, and sort of what happens with the Medeco, is that there are angled cuts on this key right here. And so you can see that the key pin actually has these angles. Or the key rather has these angles, and if I get a key pin for you, you'll see that on the end of this pin, it's sort of got this sort of chamfer, and then it's got the gate in the side of the pin right there. And so what happens is the key goes in, and the pin could be at any sort of rotation, and what'll happen is, let's say it's like this, at a sort of a strange angle, and it'll rotate as the key goes in. So if I put it here, it wants to rotate that way. If I put it over here, it actually wants to be rotated a little bit more this way. And if I put it there, it wants to be rotated that way. And so that way all these gates will line up, and that gate is what's going to engage in the sidebar. Let me grab that for you here. 1 second. So that gate will actually go, and then that's what engages right there, and you'll see the sidebar goes right into the gate right there. So when all of those line up, and you see it's only just a little bit, just goes in just a touch, when that lines up, that will retract, and then you can rotate, and you'll see this little groove in the side here that allows that sidebar to extend and retract. So I hope this has been interesting for you. This is a sort of the classic original Medeco. If you'd like to see some more, please subscribe. And thank you for watching. This has been OpAmp.